Yo, yo, what's going on, everybody? We back. Uh, it's your boy Skip and Tosh in the house. As you know, Skip and Tosh on Twitter. Y'all know I really don't check Instagram that much. Y'all should know this by now. But if you don't, cash me on Twitter. Or maybe don't cash me at all. No, cash me on Twitter. For sure. Don't miss your boy. Um, Episode 4 of King Me Hoopcast. And you guys hear my voice a lot. You hear my perspective a lot, and I appreciate that you guys return in order to hear my perspective. But I'm a homer. I'm a Kings fan. And not only am I a Kings fan, I live in Sacramento. Not only do I live in Sacramento, but I live right down the road from where the Kings play. So, we got to get objective here, and we got to hear perspectives outside of our kingdom. Us being Kings fans. So today I brought a very special guest with me. Um, Go special guest. Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Hey, what's up, everybody, man? I don't really get on Twitter that much, but so I ain't even gonna say my handle because you're gonna miss me no matter what. But yeah, I'm just gonna say I'm B, uh, and I'm definitely honored to be on this stream on this podcast, man, with my man Kurt. Uh, Been knowing him for some couple years now, man. Got an
Yeah,
amazing assist from another assist man that we both know and really care for. My man Malik, you know Lee,
yeah. They
Laker
know
League
Leak,
now.
Lake and Leak.
I ain't gonna say too much about it, but that's another day. That's both of our guys, man. That's our brothers. So that's the connection here, and I just want to say I appreciate my man Kurt for just allowing us to build a genuine brothership, not even a friendship, a brothership. So
A
I'm thankful for
brothership.
that. And yeah, man, we get to talk hoops, man. I played a little bit, you know.
Sir.
I won't say how much I played or how good I am or was, because you don't have footage to prove it. But I'm not a tall. I don't sell tall tales, so I was
Never lost. LeVar
never.
Ball never lost.
But but yeah, man, it's just it's good to be able just to talk hoop with, and gain different perspectives because, like you said, you get the homer perspective, and you know what that's gonna sound like. Either you're gonna love what's happening or you're gonna hate what's happening. There's no in between.
Nope.
So we just try to bring it in between and just share just a different perspective. But definitely really enjoy basketball, man. And I say my home team has to be the New Orleans Pelicans, but
Hey.
I won't say who my favorite player is. Maybe that'll come out in another time.
Yep.
But
That's G14 classified.
absolutely, got to
We
go to
go.
Area 51 to go ahead and get this joint.
You need
But
you need that clearance to get that
yeah,
joint right.
yep, yep.
Well,
So
we definitely gonna come back around to that on the after show. So as you guys know, I record the King Me Hoopcast while I'm streaming live on Twitch. So you will hear me call out cats in the chat. You know what I mean as we respond to some chat questions. But after we do the King Me Hoopcast, if you join us on Twitch, twitch.tv/skipintosh SKIPNTOSH, then you'll get to hear some general NBA hoop talk as well. So we're gonna talk about the Kings on this one, but join us on Twitch, and then you can go back and you can listen to me and my brother B talk about some general NBA hoop talk.
yeah.
But we're gonna jump right into it. So B, here we are. It's still summertime. There's still a lot of months left in free agency. We still got preseason and whatnot as well for the Kings to make some moves. But within the last, few weeks, last week you could say, Kings added to the roster Yogi Ferrell, very tenacious. Combo guard, point guard primarily, usually when he was on the floor with Dallas Mavericks, but definitely a combo guard because he can definitely score when you need him to score. And we also added Nemanja Bjelica. Spent a lot of time, actually, it's primarily in Minnesota with the Timberwolves. Stretch for absolutely, but spent a lot of time. Actually, I was listening to the James Ham podcast, which is the Kings Insider podcast,
Okay.
and he had clocked Bielitsa's minutes on the floor at almost half of them, a little under half, spent at small forward position in certain lineups. So, the first thing I wanted to do is kind of, before we jump into overall, just kind of get your takes on Yogi Ferrell started first of all. What kind of impressions did Yogi Ferrell make on you last season?
So I actually got to catch Yogi when he played for Indiana.
Nice.
So, it wasn't just last year with the Mavericks that I saw him. So he's it's one of those tough situations because he has the skill set,
Hmm.
but he only lacks one thing, that no matter how hard you work, no matter how hard you try, you can't grow.
Right.
That's the only
Facts.
thing he lacks. Does he?
Right.
He doesn't lack the heart. He doesn't lack where you see the heart on the court, and like he doesn't lack that. It's just the size. He definitely is a combo guard, but he's short. Like
Right.
that's the we just gotta speak to the reality of the situation. He's just
Yes,
short,
sir. That's right.
but he's absolutely a good addition to the team, man. Like he's someone that can that's gonna be uh, a calming effect on the team. His demeanor is always really 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 good, you
Mm.
know. But I don't really see him being a problem or an issue. I see
Right.
him being able to come in and contribute. I think that's one of the reasons why you guys went ahead and signed him, because it was like we need somebody with some with some stability and somebody that we can absolutely count on.
Absolutely.
Especially when you're building something, when you're growing in a new direction or in a better direction, you want solid pieces first.
Yep.
Sometimes we want to get that home run piece off the bat, and it's like, well, man, can we get a couple base hits?
Right. Right. Can we get on base?
Get on
Yeah.
base. And he's definitely a guy that's going to definitely be able to get on base and do his part and do his part. So that's good.
Absolutely. I could see that. And yeah, and especially when you're, when you're rebuilding, there's a certain level of uncertainty within your franchise. So you definitely want to get guys that you can pencil in. Okay, I know he can give me this. I know he can give me this, and then start gaining some stability, right? Get a
Yes.
foothold in, right, where you can
Yeah.
now elevate. So
Yeah.
that makes
That's how it
perfect
works.
sense.
That's how it
Absolutely. So
works.
so I got a question with you on that. We know, the main challenge with Yogi is his actual stature. He is definitely on the smaller sides. What's so-called undersized, if you will.
Right.
So even for a homer, I'll kind of place this, to you, and I'll sit across the table. We already have another guy who is very similar in that regard, in Frank Mason. Do you feel that signing Yogi Ferrell was, intentional redundancy,
Mm.
intentional, playing it out to see who's just going to grab the role, who really wants it? What are your thoughts on, Yogi Ferrell and Frank Mason basically having to show who should be the backup point guard for the Kings?
I think that's the good thing, that you want that level of competition. You want steady competition at every position at this point. So
Right.
even if it does feel a little redundant because of the size, but I think because of what both of them bring to the table, they only gonna
Hmm.
push each other. So you're gonna get the best of either guy. So you actually
Right.
put yourself in a better position, when, because again, watching Frank Mason at Kansas, which is wild, he's actually from Virginia,
Hmm.
where we at now. So it's like,
Shout out to VA.
yep. So to be able to see him come up and then go to Kansas, and he did what he did. Like, it's one of those things where college basketball kind of messes with you, because somebody could be successful throughout the whole time, like being a part of a winning program, and then when it's time to get to the NBA, they'll say, "Well, look at his size."
Right.
Like
Right.
you could check off every box. Like, yo, was he a great teammate? Was he a great leader? Did he lead his team to wins and Big 12 championships? All of that. He did all of that,
Right.
but he's just not tall enough.
It's true, man,
It's just
I mean, and like you
just what
said,
it is.
reality of the fact, right? Like, and that's one of the biggest things about the NBA that ends up being, like that the great equalizer, if you will, is that, okay, whatever you were in college, okay, well, we got that in the league already. Was you the biggest? Okay, well, we got people that's just as big or bigger. Were you the
Right.
quickest? We got people just as quick or quicker. Were you the most, you had the knockdown shot? Well, we got people that are even more of a dead eye. So, coming into the league, man, it is true. Like, there are some things that will definitely kind of level certain things out. But I
Right.
definitely speak to Yogi's heart, and that
Yeah.
heart of a competitor, you
And,
know. Um,
and you create a different culture, man. Like,
True.
people always say, like, we want to compete. We want guys that compete. But when you watch the product on the floor, you like, they ain't competing. It's not even that you're not good. I can see that you're not competing. Like,
Right, right,
when talent wins, we cool with that. Like, I think everybody's okay if the better team wins, if we both played our best game. If you
right,
both gave it your all and you lost, we okay with that. But
right.
if you watch 82 games and it's like, man, we competed for 41 of them, there's a whole that's that might have been half your home games you competed for. So you
Ooh,
might have had to sit there and watch
Some of that
Some of that
non-competitive nature.
non-competitive nature. And it's like once you see guys that come in where you see, well, what are we trying to do? I think when you look at your teams, like, what are we ultimately trying to do? And everybody's trying to win a championship, but it's like,
Yeah,
how do you actually do that?
right.
And it starts with stuff like this, where you know what, man, we want to just put guys on the floor that are gonna flat out compete because that
Absolutely.
looks so much different, man. Like that puts you or pushes you in a different direction just by being a competitor, just by
Absolutely.
that. So you sign. It looked like y'all signing some competitors
Yeah.
now who actually have may not have been the at the top tier of winners where they came from or but they compete though. They compete,
Absolutely.
and that's a
That
plus, even for a franchise that's trying to come up.
I appreciate you being so gentle with your description
I
of
mean, you
my
got to go. You
franchise.
don't even have to get the league pass to know what you got.
Oh nah,
So
man.
I
Nah,
want
I smell it in the air from where I live. Hey man, no, real talk. So, but definitely, I agree with a lot of your sentiments, and as far as Yogi Ferrell's talent, as well as his stability and his calming nature, his level headedness on the floor, I think, especially to our younger rookies, will
yeah,
continue to be, an example of how to hold things together. You know what I mean?
yes,
When on the court. So I appreciate that. I guess we can move over then to our man Nemanja Bjelica. Stretch for you could even go as far as to say a dead eye from coming over from the Timberwolves.
hmm
Now word is that he was going to be heading back overseas. The
right,
offers just weren't coming in like that. Thibs and the way that he runs teams and whatnot is still very much kind of a little outdated. As much as I appreciate Thibs, kind of old school nature, sentiment, push, push,
right.
push, pound, pound, pound. It's different these days, right? NBA
I
is different now. B, right? Just kind of give
would
a
say it's
little bit of a word
I
on that.
was I would say it's different where, and it's not to take a knock at anybody. It's just you just
Right,
assess what you assess. And I think
right.
the biggest thing with Tibbs, and if you plan for him in any capacity, is that I think that he's a better defensive coach versus a head
Absolutely,
coach.
absolutely.
I think you see that with other organizations where you'll have a guy who's a great just a wrangler of people and egos and all of this stuff. He's good at that. Like, but Tibbs is just he's hard nosed defensive kind of guy. So if you don't have somebody to balance that out, then you're gonna get what you're gonna get with any team that he's on. And even if you could shoot, even if you could score, his default is defense.
Yeah,
That's his default.
yeah.
And
Very good point.
if your default is defense and you need offense to score, I don't really know how that's going to work.
And that seems to be a bit of what they were struggling with. Now, to that point, you have a guy like Bielitsa who
Right.
definitely allows you to space your floor. So for some of your guards that really need to penetrate and get in there to be effective, like a Andrew Wiggins, your wings, or even a Jimmy Butler. And if you take into account their lead point guard as well, with wow, how about Jeff Teague, not
Yeah.
the biggest floor spacer. So I thought it was a little interesting that they did let someone like Bielitsa walk, but what can he bring? Oh no, go. Oh, please speak on
Oh,
that.
you
Speak on
good.
that.
You good. You good. I
Yeah,
mean, sometimes it's just a fit thing for some teams. It's like
agreed.
maybe, but again, when you talk about it, and you actually say it out loud. It's like, man, like you got Carl Anthony Towns down there too. So it's like that actually would help him if the floor is spaced more. When you're gonna really be able to, you won't be able to just you know double and triple team him as much as you would like if the floor is spaced because
Right.
he's the true floor spacer. Even though he plays the post position, like if you
Right.
can space the floor and not have people just 3 4 people coming at him,
Mhm.
then you'll be all right. But
Right.
I mean, you got someone who's gonna be able to space the floor for y'all and
Yep.
bring that to the table. So it's like, and you get somebody who's like, man, like you said, the overseas offers didn't come in the way that he would have liked. So he
Hmm.
comes here. So it's like, man, he's actually playing for something. He's
Right.
playing for something because those minutes gonna matter to him. Because if he can't go home and play,
Right.
he better be here and at least play. He not to be here just to chill. Because I know he
Right.
get no matter how much you pay, home is still home, and you can
Right
get
about
sick if
that.
you ain't at home, especially if you ain't playing, especially if you're not playing. So.
Yes,
But
sir. Very good point. No, and I agree. I really because that's something that the Kings needed. We were actually, I want to say we were top five in 3-point percentage last season, but we were like bottom five in 3 pointers made. So it's
and
like,
that's so that doesn't
like
even how that happen.
how does
How
that
does that happen?
happen? And
Hmm.
and you really, you now me, I could tell you how that happened, but we won't get into that quite yet. That shouldn't happen though. So with
That's
someone like Bielitsa coming in, and this is a guy that's not gun shy. He knows his position. He pulls
hmm
the trigger. He lets that thing fly. But something that that I wanted to get your perspective on, because we know what it brings is what he brings. That's pretty clear.
right.
But we also brought in another. Our need is a small forward. We currently only have really one official small forward on our team, Justin Jackson,
Right.
NCAA champion with
Right.
UNC, my team, where I was born, North Carolina.
That's right. That's right.
But we passed on Doncic. We decided that we wanted to go with Bagley. Wasn't my choice, but I welcome my man Bagley to the squad. He a king now. You got to crown you a king now.
Right.
But
There you
do we
go.
do we have too many bigs? I mean, we're talking about Costa Kufis, Marvin Bagley. I mean, we
I
got we.
don't.
What's that? What is your thought
I
on
mean,
that?
I guess Vlade's picking all of the. He's doing all the. He's making all the picks. I
Right.
think that, and he's showing that he's making a lot of these picks and choices because
Mhm.
they look very similar.
They
They
do.
look very similar.
They do. They
And
do.
I mean, at a certain point, man, yeah, I think Bagley is I think they looked at him as a more so, I would think, an instant can't miss.
Hmm.
As far as if he just does what he does, he'll
Hmm.
be fine.
Right.
Rebound, run the floor.
Hmm.
We saw that he's, at Duke, he was able to hit the open three. He
Hmm.
spaced the floor, but he just has this. He just got this knack for the ball. It's like the ball is always around him,
Right. Right.
and
Um. Mhm.
and you got to see that. You like, uh, my man who came from overseas. It's like you can see his skill set. You can
Mhm.
see what he could do, but you saw it from over there. It's the
Right.
difference when you're able to go, and see Marvin Bagley play all these times at Duke, where you're able to see him like 30 and 15, like he really doing this. Like, and it's like that's I think that's harder to pass up at this stage when you are rebuilding because you don't want to take that much of a chance
Right.
where you say, you know what, man, like we can use him and he will be effective in the
Hmm.
league. And but you are getting out of the same players. So that's the one I'm like, I really don't. Maybe you about to move some of these players. I don't think the roster is going to end up looking like this because again, you're getting the same guy. So maybe they'll fight it out, during training camp, and we'll see some cuts being made or some players being moved to where it makes sense. Maybe they just want that he brings in this group of guys to compete. And
Right.
let me see if you push the guy ahead of you. Push him. I need you to do that. Push my rookies, but show them,
Right.
and then see how it plays out. But yeah, you can't. You're not gonna win in the NBA with 32 forwards. It's just not going like that. It just is. What it is.
Unless we're on some progressive thing that like not even Golden State has locked onto yet. I
You
don't
still
know,
got to
B.
put the ball in the basket unless they're gonna change the rules. I don't know. You still got to put the ball in the basket.
Yeah, I don't
But
know
that's
if
what
that's
Marvin
gonna
can do,
happen.
though. That's what Marvin
Right.
can do, though. He can
Absolutely.
he can flat out put the ball. And you looking at somebody that's money from 10 feet in,
Yeah.
like money, which is wild that a lot of our centers in the league now they not. You put them
Right.
around the basket, they trying to figure it out.
That's very true.
And he,
Very, very, very true.
rebounds. His defense, his energy. He's like to me, he was just one of those picks where it's like, you know what, man, like even if he doesn't end up being a perennial superstar, which you don't
Hmm.
really, it's only a few of those anyway. But
Right.
you can get you a guy that can be an all star, who can be a cornerstone in this sense. And I think that's kind of what they looked at that position. So that's I,
Absolutely.
I like the pick. I like his game overall, and
Hmm.
I think he has the fluidity to be able to continue to get better. I think when you look
Yes.
at a couple other guys on the roster, it's like they'll be able to get better, but only in maybe one or two areas. And it's like, man, like, but bag, he'll go in his bag. He'll be all right.
Hey,
He'll
hey,
be all right.
in my Bagley.
That's right.
Secure the
That's right.
Bagley. Okay,
Take
I
care of
rock
that
with
thing,
it. All
man.
right. I see
So
that's why I brought my brother B on here. You know what I'm saying? The outside perspective, you know what I'm saying, is a little encouraging to your boy
yeah.
Homer Kurt. So I
Yeah,
appreciate
yeah.
this,
So just
man.
yeah, Homer Kurt. Just I'm not gonna lie to you either. Y'all not winning the championship next year.
Oh no,
You know,
absolutely not. I
you
don't
know,
even know if we're
you know.
making it
So
to the playoffs.
I'm not selling you dreams, but you're moving in the right direction though, with some of the pieces that y'all pulling in. But you know,
Absolutely.
we'll see how the GM does what he does. I don't know,
We
man.
will see. We will see. Now I will say this, and a lot of people, you know, this is a let's call it a homerism. Being that I'm here, a lot of people do look at Vlade because he is the face of our front office. But some of the moves that we have made, people forget that we had Ken Catanella come from. He was in Detroit at one time, but directly from the league offices to Sacramento in order to bring some front office stability, you know,
Mm,
with us. So some of
okay.
the moves that we have made, like how we ended up acquiring Harry Giles, who we might speak about in a moment. You know, taking Fox at 5, having the New Orleans pick at 10, and trading back you know, and taking Justin Jackson and Marvin Bagley instead of just taking Justin Jackson at 10, which would have really made us look suspect, right? Like, I know that's the guy that we wanted, but taking Justin Jackson at 10 with better talent in front of him makes us look crazy. But trading back, still getting the guy you want and getting an extra pick on a guy that was touted to be like a top 2 pick before his second ACL tear.
Yeah, with
Those are
Giles.
things, right, with Giles. That's definitely not Vlade to me. See, those are parts where it's like I can't give Vlade that credit. That looks like a
Right.
very intelligent Ken Cantanella move. So
Yeah, I
certain little
would.
things like that.
Yeah, I would agree that yeah, when you make a move like that, you know, that's a collective move. Like the
Hmm.
first one was one that I wanted to make on my own, and it was like, cool,
Yep.
that was cool, but let's go ahead and let's sit down and talk about this next one.
Right. Let's get
And
the brain
and I think
trust together.
and Harry Giles was one of those guys where it was like, man, again, I saw him in high school, uh, saw when he got hurt, or followed
Yeah.
it when he got hurt both
Right.
times, and it was like one of those things where it's like, man, like, but for me, this is just me, and I did not see the even before the knees, the
Hmm.
couldn't miss. I didn't see that. I saw a guy who could definitely play in the NBA,
Yep.
but you know the talk around him was you can't miss with this guy. That he's definitely going to be, you know, he's a lotto stud, you know,
Mm.
top 5 pick, and it was like I don't know, man. Maybe it was because of the time that he didn't play,
Hmm.
you know,
Yeah.
that it just
That
kind of, you know, he's just rusty, just because he hasn't played a full season in almost 4 years.
right.
That's
Right.
a
Yeah.
long time, man. If basketball is what I do, and I haven't been able to play a full season in high school,
Yep.
college, or the league in four
Yep.
years, so I'm like, I would attest that. Hopefully, it's just rust, and he'll break through. But
Mhm.
he's one of those guys where I wasn't sure about that one. So I guess
Okay.
that's why you get him where you get him, because I guess they weren't sure either. But you still
A-
got somebody there who has potential,
Absolutely.
but he still has to obviously he has to show it. He got to
Yeah,
show
yeah.
it.
Gotta show and prove. And at the end of the day, gotta show and prove. Responding to the chat real quick, we got Vijan in the chat, but we aren't testing the GM skills anymore. People have lost a lot of faith in Vlade. Also saying Kings fans are looking for that home run hitter, so to speak. LOL. Very true. You know, the
Right.
position that we've been in, missing, you know, the playoffs for now, this will be I believe the 12th season coming up on
Yikes.
that we missed it. Yeah, and I understand. I'm a Kings fan just like any others, and we are looking for that home run hit. But you know, to
Right.
what my to a testament to what my brother B said, before we hit a home run, you know, let's get
Let's
ourselves
get
on
on
base.
base.
You
Yeah,
know.
and I think a couple of y'all on base. De'Aaron Fox is definitely that's somebody.
Yep.
That's a guy that I really like. And I actually watched something. I think it was yesterday. I meant to send it to you.
Okay.
That they did a joint on. Was it? It wasn't. I mean, they put it on Bleacher Report.
Uh huh.
I can't remember what it was exactly what it was from.
Okay.
And it was like a 7 or 8 minute just kind of where it just kind of went back to talk to people that he dealt with in high school. Just talk to you about who he was and how he was just the
Nice.
same type of guy. Like how when he's been dominating older players for a long time, but he doesn't look like when you see some of his younger when he was younger, he was a smaller kid with glasses,
Oh snap. Okay.
and it was like. he wasn't always the most as athletic as you see him, but he always had the skill set. He always had this
Hey,
calming demeanor about him. Like, so you got somebody that's definitely he's a top five pick. Like he is what
absolutely.
he is.
Yes.
Now it's a little bit harder to see it because of the stuff that's around it, but you
Right.
still can see it. You
A-
definitely can see that he got something. He got something, and that's the guy. I
absolutely.
like. I like his game. I like his demeanor. I like what he like. He wants to win, and he's gonna work. He's gonna work,
Yes.
man, and that's what you need. You need
Need that.
guys with that type of mindset now.
Absolutely. Him and Buddy Hield. Buddy Hield's
I
work ethic is
man,
almost like unparalleled. Like this guy, like he almost. I think I went into the Kings locker room in gym one time, and I saw like a blanket and a pillow and a sleeping bag in the corner,
and it
and it
goes at
said
Buddy,
Buddy. But like
natural.
this guy lives in the gym. So I do enjoy our core of Fox, Hild, and Bogdanovich, another guy who he's an older guy, so he has more IQ and really probes
Right.
and views the floor. But
Season. He's seasoned,
seasoned,
man.
a seasoned
Yeah.
player. But it's these Bagleys and these Giles that we got to see play out and see if they can complete the front court to our back court and our wing and really bring everything together. So on that
Which in the
note,
grand scheme,
yeah, yeah, no, please,
no, I'm
please.
saying in the grand scheme of things, I think that they could. I
Hmm.
think that they could,
Hmm.
but it's one of those things where us thinking don't mean that it's gonna happen like that.
Nope.
But you're putting yourself in a position again to push players for players to
Right,
grow,
right.
for you to get better. Where it's like, you know what? I mean, it's a couple other moves that I was a little shocked by that y'all made, but that's cool. That's neither here nor there because I don't think those guys are going to be here for that long.
Right, right.
Like your
Yeah,
Ben
absolutely.
McLemore. I don't know how does that.
Yeah.
I
Let's
just
talk
thought that
about
was a
that.
straight contract. I just thought that was a straight contract.
Look,
Something
absolutely.
is his contract about to be up or something like that? Did they get him
Yes.
as an expiring contract?
He's an expiring contract. The Ben McLemore thing, I actually believe that we ended up with him more to say, hey, Garrett Temple, you opted back in. You are an incredible vet. This is a contract year for you. You have been great to our locker room. You have been great to our kids. You know that we have to give these guys more time. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna go ahead and we're gonna send you off to where you can actually start and get actual minutes to
Right.
continue to show the league that you deserve to be
Got you.
here. And we're just gonna take these guys back. We're gonna move. Don't even worry about what we got to do with them. We just gonna place you over here. You know what I'm saying? Out of appreciation for you, and that's what the move really is to me. Getting back Ben Mack and the other. I think we're gonna hang on to them until we see that maybe we can't move them and Costa for some other assets, and then we might end up just waiving those guys, and then
Right.
just having more cap space back because we have the most cap space in the league right now. We're sitting at 11 mil, even after signing
Right.
Yogi Ferrell and Bielitsa. So that's what I see happening. What I like about the fact of all the players that we have is there's a lot of pairings that you can like guys like Zebo.
Mm.
We get deeper into the season and a squad who's on the brink, either trying to get into the playoffs or see that they need a little bit more to really
Right.
be competitive. We'll say, hey, give me Zebo and such, and we'll give you guys this back. You know what I'm saying? To just kind of put them over the top a little bit, have a bench
Right.
scorer that
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
can count on.
Still a business.
It's still a
Still a
business.
business.
It's
So you
still a
got to be, yeah,
business.
you got to be smart with your assets. You got to look at people, man. Are they assets, and who
Right.
would they really be? Like that doesn't mean that what's an asset to me at this point is an asset to you. So yeah,
Right.
you definitely can use these pieces to help other teams get over the top, and for guys, like Zebo and things like that, and your Jared Temples, where it's like, you know what, man,
Mhm.
like I want you to be in a better situation.
Right.
I want you've given what you've given us. I know our window, it looks a little different now because we're getting younger,
Right.
but we don't want to just throw you by the wayside because what you gave to the organization. So I think that's a good thing where you can actually send guys off into to positions or places where we are playing for something right now. Because it's not
Right.
saying that I think Jared Temple's his character is that he's always going to play and give you all he got. And it
Yes,
just is what it
absolutely.
is. Like another guy, LSU, so as he should. But
Yeah.
you want to reward guys like that for just for their overall hard work and dedication to the game
Absolutely.
and how they came and brought it for your organization.
Right.
Even though as a whole we weren't able to win like we would have liked to, but it wasn't because of you that we didn't win. You
Exactly.
didn't hold us back. You gave us everything you had. So that's good.
Absolutely,
That's good.
absolutely. And that's another part of rebuilding your franchise, not just, getting the draft picks right, getting
Not
the
yet.
players right, but also, just bringing in, treating the players right once they get there, and then showing other players that might come in,
Man,
hey, we are vet friendly. We are looking out for your best interests as well as we're going through this. Work with us. We'll do our best to work with you, pay you a little bit extra because you're coming here. And,
right.
if we see that you've given us all that you can and there's a better spot for you, we can place you in another position, take back some assets in your place, and continue to build. So that speaks to just a paradigm shift and a culture change within the organization as well. So,
And that's usually how it starts, man. It starts there. Like,
mhm,
a lot of times people think championships are won on the court,
mm,
but when you really look at it, man, it starts in your from your ownership,
yep,
to your front office, GMs, head coaches. Like that's where it really, changes. Like the mentality changes, and a lot of times it'll take a couple years for you to really see that, yo. It took us to have to go through this mental type of change and this
right.
mental maturation, and then it finally translated to on the court. I think that's the biggest thing with the Kings, and that you got to be in it for the long haul and
Yep.
know that, man, the renewal of the mind is a major thing.
The renewal of the
It's a
mind
major
is
thing, man.
is key.
It's
Absolutely.
key, man. And it don't
Can't be the
always
same old
come
creature.
nah, and it doesn't always translate into wins and losses day one or year
Right.
two. But you can see a difference.
Right.
You'll be able to see a difference. So
Absolutely. I agree. Well, shoot, and then and finally, so we t- daddy
hold
duty.
on, boo.
Daddy duty is important. You know what
Daddy,
I mean?
I I gotta find it.
No problem.
No, that's not. Go ahead. You good?
Yeah,
We
man. So,
good.
and then the final part. So, just kind of naming off our roster real quick. We touched on it a little bit, but as it stands, we have Amon Shumpert, shooting guard, Marvin Bagley, power forward, D Fox at the point, Ben McLemore as a shooting guard, likely to be moved. Willie Cauley Stein, likely to be our starting center. Um,
How do y'all like
uh,
Willie out there?
Willie.
How y'all like him out there?
Um, so the general consensus is people really like Willie. And not only because of his demeanor, but because we have actually seen like incremental like improvement. Like every year,
Right.
literally, he's made noticeable change.
Okay.
But at the same time, the reality is there hasn't been a breakout from Willie Cauley Stein.
Mhm.
He's never broken out. So, I think the general consensus is being that he's steadily gotten better. We just like the stability and the constant progress that he has never
Right.
stagnated. I think
There you
we
go.
have. It is the fact that he hasn't had a breakout that's kind of jarred us. So I think we want to hang on to him, thinking that at the very at the very least, he'll be, like a very, very solid bench player with incredible athleticism. Um,
Hmm.
but at the same time, his window is, he people can still smell the draft on him. So it might be in a position where we might should move him for other franchises, thinking that they can do a better job with him and take something in return.
Of development.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Okay. Yeah. He was one of those players where it was like, man, I just looked at him as like he was kind of, or still is, just raw when it comes to just the scoring side of basketball.
Yeah,
Where it's like, man, like he could fly because he was a wide receiver,
right.
back in the day. So he can fly.
Yeah.
He got good hands. So it's like,
Yes, he does.
but it's not putting the ball in the end zone. It's actually putting it in the hole now. Like you got to
Yeah,
score that thing. Like it's a different type
exactly.
of scoring you got to do, Willie.
And you
And
only
it's
get two.
like
You don't get six.
you only you only get six, and you got to put the ball on the floor. But with the way that I think it'll look even better. He'll look even better
Hmm.
running the floor with De'Aaron Fox
Hmm.
this year coming up, and some of the other younger pieces where like we're moving. You guys are moving with a purpose now.
Right. Right.
Like it's before it. It's like always remind me a team of like the younger Clippers teams where, back in the
Mm.
day, the Clippers always had the number one draft pick. They was always in the lottery, and they was always getting really talented but raw young players, and they
Right.
didn't have a culture of developing them.
Nope.
Like it wasn't like when you get drafted by the Clippers, it was so you can go to somewhere else. Let me go ahead and make my name here, and I got to get up out of here, or I'll stay because the Clippers gonna overpay me.
Right.
So it wasn't a
Right.
culture of winning. It was
Nope.
just I don't know. I don't know
You
what the
go.
Clippers was doing.
Nah, we have no idea.
So, but
But
it goes to the front office, the ownership.
right.
Like it all makes sense after years later when everything comes out. Oh, of course, the Clippers not going to win.
Right.
Look at how the ownership was. You can't win like that.
Nope.
Not
Definitely
for
not.
not you won't be able to sustain winning because winning is actually a culture and an environment. Yeah, you can.
Yes, it is.
It's not so yeah, yeah,
Very, very good point. And like you said, that owner got out, brought a new, very enthusiastic owner with deep pockets in, brought in, well, actually maintained, the best part of the culture that they had, which was Doc Rivers, and then
right,
started transforming things, and we did see them turn around, and unfortunately, they took it as far as they could, so they
yeah,
did change the way that people look at their franchise, and now bringing in
absolutely,
the logo. Now they're like, okay, we're gonna rebuild it. Now that you guys view us differently, and we got this new owner who's enthusiastic, let's go ahead and rebuild, and we'll build a better one. So
yep, and
very
that's how, and
appreciated.
that's where you guys are. I think you guys have probably one of the best owners, flat out in the league. Period. Probably in all of sports, just by the way he carries himself, man. When anything happens, when just in general,
Right.
like he's at the
Stephen
forefront.
Clark.
He's right there for the players. I mean, come
Right.
on, man. Like
Absolutely.
it's one of those things where you want to like again. Those are the things that may not translate into wins today,
Mm-hmm.
but over the long haul, man, that's character stuff, man. People are gonna get behind that. Players gonna play differently, like, and you're gonna assess players differently too. Like there's
Absolutely.
gonna be some players that now, like, you know what, the talent is there, but man, we got to stay away from that. Like, we're not just gonna sign you just because. Oh, you
Right.
available? Nah, we not gonna move like that no more. And so that's good to see your ownership, being where it is, man. Like that's a great thing. Y'all moving again. You moving in the right direction. You
Right.
moving in the right direction.
Inching and inching and inching. I appreciate that, man. Just to wrap it up, Harry Giles at power forward, Bogdan Bogdanovic holding down the combo guard, shooting guard position. Buddy Hield letting it
Right.
fly as a shooting guard. Costa Koufis power
Okay.
forward. Justin Jackson, our only true small forward. Scalabrine still on the squad as a power
I
forward.
know, man. I like him. Man,
I
I
like him
like
a
him,
lot
man.
too. Yeah,
I
tell
like
me a
him,
little bit
man.
about your views of Scal.
So again, basketball is what I really enjoy. So I catch these guys a lot of times in high school,
Mm.
and when he finally did, his story is wild. Just
Yeah,
wait,
it
like just
was
even how
coming
he
from
ends up,
Haiti.
man,
Yeah,
all the earthquake, everything, like man,
yeah.
it was so the story is wild.
Mm.
But I think when he went to Kentucky, I don't think he was kind of coached like that before, and it was one of those things where it was like he really was trying to. Thank you. He was really trying to help his family. Like
Right,
it's one of those moves where it's like, man, like could he have stayed in college and developed a little bit more? But it was like, man, I literally got to go and help my family.
right,
So I
right.
think,
Lightweight, my
but
country. You know.
but when you watch him play, even when you saw him get on the court for y'all toward the second half of the season, was it
Right,
last year? Oh yeah, it was like he's really good.
right.
He's
Really
really
good.
good, man.
Right.
Skill, like he can handle the ball
Yep.
enough. He can
Yep.
shoot. It's
Mm-hmm.
just the physical side of it, man. That he just had
Yeah.
like
That
he
physicality.
just needs the experience. He just needs
Yeah.
the NBA experience. He has the NBA tools, but he just didn't
Mm-hmm.
have the experience. And I think his body looked like it developed.
It
He was a
did.
boy. He's like a
Yeah.
little boy.
He
And now you
really
see like
was.
yo, and it's like you looking at him, you see him now. You're like, wait a minute, this man got he
Mm-hmm.
actually do got shoulders underneath that jersey.
Right. Rocking up. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
So I think from he's a piece that I'm like, man, if he hits his potential,
Mm.
man, like that's somebody that can him and Bagley together down there, running the
Mm.
floor,
I
playing the way
like
that they
that.
play with like it looks like you can it's a little blurry,
Mm-hmm.
but you can see it.
You can see
A
it.
little you can see it.
You
You
just gotta
see it,
you
but
just
it's
gotta rub
blurry.
the window
Yeah,
real quick. Just rub the
bro,
windshield
real
and you
quick.
can see through
Hit it with the okay, okay, that's him behind there. That's him behind there. So that's a guy
Hey.
that, again, that's a guy that I really did like, man. When you watch these guys play, like it's certain things that you kind of just see. Certain
Yeah.
things that, when it comes to touch and things like that, like when you play hoop, like you can't teach somebody touch. I can show you a shot, but I can't be
Right.
like, hey, shoot it this soft, or you need to put
Right.
this. Like, I can't tell you that because
Mm-mm.
it's
And he
no like,
got that too.
it's no quadratic equation for this man. You actually got to do it.
You got to just
Like
do
you,
it.
and he has you got to and you got players on that team that can just do it, but you know, younger, not
Right.
not having the opportunity or
Right.
the expectation of fans. You know how fans are, man. Like,
Oh
man,
yeah.
I need you to be 20 and 10 yesterday. And my
That's how
man was
cats
like,
are
bro, but I
feeling.
was just I was like, man, but I'm 19 and 11. I'm 19 years old and 11 months, man. Come on, give me a little time.
Give me some time. I feel you, man. I feel you. Now jumping over to the chat real quick. Vijan says Willie is nice, but I don't feel he is playing as aggressive as he can. And that he could, because he knows we ain't winning or going to any playoffs. I think he needs a little basketball at a I think that's aptitude, a little basketball aptitude. So I can definitely agree. Willie is a bit of a kind of like a free thinker, almost a little philosophical in his approach to things. And basketball he can catch on to, but even I've heard him say in interviews like he really, really, really like needs the reps because he can sit and he can pick things apart a little bit, but he needs to be in there. He needs to see the seams. And
Yeah,
what I do appreciate about Willie, his time sitting he can the aggression he's got to get that in his mind. Like I don't think he can watch enough basketball and then decide he needs to play aggressively, but from watching basketball he became a better passer. He was setting up Costa Kufis for alley oops last season, and I was like,
man.
wow.
That's another guy that I actually like too. Costa
Hmm.
Cooper's. I liked him, man. It's just some players when you finally do make it to the league. Again, watched him at Ohio State. I thought he was going to
Right.
be a whole lot better in the
Right.
league, but
He was a
sometimes
shooter back then.
you just get put into different situations, different
Right.
cultures, and it's
Hmm.
like, man, I had all this potential, but we
Hmm.
losing, and the coaching
Right.
is awful, and like everything is just like, man, it's not an environment conducive for growth. And I think
Absolutely.
that he may be one of those guys that got caught up in that. And I think Willie just may be a guy who just needs like all of us. Like sometimes when you move us into a different environment, not saying that the one that we were in was
Hmm.
bad, but just saying
Right.
that man, he just may need a different. He just made it. He's been there for a little while,
Yeah, new
for a little while. He
scenery.
may just need to see something different.
Hmm.
And but you don't, as a fan, you don't want to. Do you really want to see that? Do you really want to see him flourish somewhere else? I would like for you to flourish here.
We the
I don't want
last
to see
team that want to see anybody flourish anybody else because everybody flourishes somewhere else with the
It's like,
Kings.
come on, man. Let's get some of that flourish over here.
Yeah, let's flourish right here. But to that point, we do just have to understand where we're at. We understand that we're gonna have to let some people go. We're gonna see them flourish
Yes,
in other places. But as long as letting them go leads to opportunities for people here that will
yes,
apply the things that they need to apply, not that like you said, not that they need to immediately translate, but just they immediately start applying what they need to
yes,
with those new opportunities, it could really turn us into what we need it to be.
yeah,
Rounding out the squad, we got Zebo. We know what Zebo brings. Jack
yeah.
Cooley. I don't know if he's technically still a two-way contract with us. Frank Mason the third, Jakar Sampson, still on a two-way contract with us. That's actually who I want us to start and be our starting power forward, because I
Mm,
think we got enough scoring all other places. He plays with
right,
Bron a lot at Bron's gym. He D'd Bron up really well both times that we did play Cleveland. And he's a super energetic guy, super pot, and he can actually score too, and he'll shoot the open three.
right.
Bielitsa and then Yogi Ferrell and Deontay Davis.
I
So we
think
can
y'all just.
see. Mm-hmm.
I
What are you
want to
saying,
say. I
B?
think y'all just. I think y'all just signed Wenyan Gabriel to
We
a two-way
did to a two
contract.
way, yeah,
Another
and that's
guy.
why I think Jack
Another.
Cooley's is up because he kind of takes Cooley's spot in that sense.
Okay. Yeah, and I like. Hey, Booby, can you close? Is the sliding door closed? Can you close the big sliding door? And Wenyan Gabriel was a guy from Kentucky.
Hmm.
So a similar situation where he just had to. I think he had to get out to absolutely help his family because I didn't think that he was going to come out this year just by the way he played. But he plays
Right.
with energy. He going to give you. And a two-way contract is good in the league now because you actually, have potential. and you get to hold on to it and actually groom it in your organization and say, you know what, I see this in him, and it's like, yo, he won't have to go to he won't come up underneath our organization and our amateur organization and get all of this experience, and then he goes somewhere and flourishes. Like, yo, two-way contracts actually allows you to hold on to something,
Yep.
and that actually helps you. That helps your organization when you get guys like that, and he's coachable.
Absolutely.
I think
Yes,
that's a
he
big
is.
thing too. That, if you play for Coach Cal and he vouches for you, he's saying that, yo, this is a kid who is absolutely coachable.
Yep.
That, yo, and the way Coach Cal coaches, I don't really think there's a whole lot of NBA coaches that are gonna coach the way he coaches. Because
Right.
once you get to the league, the way that you coach is a little bit different, man. Because they looking at you totally different now. Like, man, I'm a grown man. That's what them checks
Right.
say.
You know?
Checks say I'm a grown man, coach.
Coach. Yeah, that's right.
Right.
So yeah,
So
man, I totally agree, and I think he's a good addition to it. Any guys coming in, because we got a lot of nice guys and we got a lot of very cerebral guys. We got to start, and and to Vijan's point, he did say in the chat that it is more about attitude. Be a little more mean on
hmm
the court. I think all of our players, probably, all of our young core. Maybe with the exception of Harry Giles. Again, if you watch him in summer league, he was very Chris Webber esque, barking, talking mess,
right.
getting his guys involved, clapping a lot, another competitor with a
Yeah.
competitive spirit.
Need that.
So I believe that bringing Gabriel in, he can help, try to balance out our team and then kind of bring that, because we need that in order to win. You got to have that competitive fire. You can't just
And I
be super cool on the court. Everybody can't be super
yeah,
cool on the court all the time. We
you
need
can't.
balance.
And I think when you see where you get Harry Giles from, where you got back where Bagley's from, where
Mm-hmm.
Wenyen Gabriel's from, like
Mm,
they're coming from cultures where we win.
yeah,
Kentucky, we win. Duke,
right.
we
Duke.
win.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is what you're getting somebody who is ready to win. Like, we're gonna do
Absolutely.
whatever it takes to win,
That's right.
and that's what you need. That's exactly
Absolutely.
what you need when you're trying to build something better.
And shoot, we couldn't have said it even better. And on that note, we're actually gonna wrap up this episode of King Me Hoopcast. B, any closing thoughts? Any place people should check you out on Twitter or anything like that?
You know what? Nah, man. Y'all just you Kings fans, just support your team, man.
Hmm.
Support your team. Encourage your team. I know it's rough out there, but it's definitely gonna get better. But it's the way that it gets better. It starts with y'all ownership and your front office, and it's like, man, you've made strides in the right direction. So your ship isn't sinking anymore. You know, and if it already sank, they just building a new one, so you good.
There we go. There we go. Much appreciated. Well, everybody, you guys know where to find me. This is your boy Skip. Skip and Tosh, SKIPNTOSH. You can find me on Twitch, where B and I will take another about 10-15 minutes and discuss just some general overall hoop talk. So for the Kings
Yep.
chat, always find us here on the podcast. But if you want the Kings talk and some of that NBA talk as well, you can
Yeah.
find me having guests like my man B over on my Twitch channel. So definitely follow me there. And Kings fans, keep hope alive. Believe in the kingdom. We building. Peace. All right, cool, man. Appreciate you, B. Got the King Me Hoopcast stuff locked up. So, what's going on in the NBA, B? What's happening?
Let me tell you, I'm a Kings fan, but look, let me tell you
But
what I
look,
really want to talk about. Don't tell
that's
nobody.
right. That's
Don't tell.
right.
I don't know, man. Like, the league is, for me, I think the league is in a great place.
Okay.
As far, I know we could look at, top sided or heavy, it's and when you deal with a dynasty, they're gonna look at you like that. They're like, well, everybody else is bad. And it's like, that's not the case, man. This
Right.
ain't this isn't the league of old where, where somebody or a team can literally dominate your whole joint for 10, 15 years straight.
Right.
Like, the Warriors have had a great run over the last 4 years, but it hasn't been as dominant as people want it to be. Now, these last two, absolutely.
Right.
But the league in general, everybody's getting better. And nobody's, I think the majority of the league, they're not afraid of the Warriors. I
Right.
think sometimes people, they make it seem like the other teams are afraid of them. And it's like,
Right.
nah, I think there's guys who just look across there and say, yo, like, they just that they really are that good. I'm not afraid of them though,
Right.
and we want to get better. It's not having the league shy away from the competition. It's like,
Right.
man, like teams are really getting better.
Yeah.
Players are really getting better, and
Absolutely.
that's a great thing for the league, man. That's a great thing. I mean, and it may not feel as good if you're not a Warriors fan, you know,
Right. Right.
because you
Right.
trying to you trying to knock them off the mountain. But if you see somebody that's that good and you
Hmm.
chasing that, I mean, I would think that it would actually make you better in the long run. Because if you're chasing mediocrity, then what are you really chasing? I want to
Exactly.
chase greatness.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Absolutely. I'm very much with you there. I think it's an interesting thing with yeah, I mean, now me being so close to it, and there being more Warriors fans than Kings fans and in my own city. That they're definitely yeah, there comes an element of kind of like, all right, I get it, they're great, XYZ, but you're right. Like for these GMs, like a GM like Daryl Morey, who's like, I don't understand why anybody like wouldn't be trying all that they can to make their team as good as
that's
possible to knock them
that's
off.
that's the goal. I
That's the
think I think
goal.
when we talk about sports, it's like, well, this because at the end of the day, this isn't AAU. Like
Right.
this isn't a high school. This isn't like you just literally just got the 10 best players from around the country. Like no, there's a couple hundred players in the league. So the
Yeah.
pool is actually bigger than what you would think it is, and the talent is actually better than what you would think it is.
Yeah.
But when those guys are where they are, and they become the kind of the gauge, and like it's like, man, it could be frustrating, but at the same time, if you have a solid GM who's like, yo, I want to win, and I
Yep.
and I'll and I think it will feel so much better to get a championship against them than anybody else.
Oh, absolutely. It's
Like,
gotta. It's gotta feel
come on,
incredible
man,
to knock off, those guys with that level of talent
with
that
that
they
level
have
of
at
talent
every
at
position, and
every
then that
position,
level of coaching as well that they have.
at
Yeah,
that
man.
that's gonna show you who you are. It's like, man, like, yeah, I'm great too. I'm great in my own right, and we can
Absolutely.
beat. And it's again, they look like depending on where you sit, they could look unbeatable. But again, it depends on where you sit. And there's other
Right.
guys who like, nah, man, nah, we not only are they beatable, but I want to beat them. You look
Yeah.
at the Rockets last year. The Rockets was like they didn't look at them like they was unbeatable. They looked
No.
like, yo, we want to beat you, and
Yeah,
we
and got
played
and
like
got
that.
one game away from
Game
doing it.
away, yeah, so,
Got to
but
chase it, man. Got to
got it,
chase it. So I
yeah.
have a question for you because this is something personally to me. Oh, hold on, but really jump to Vision real quick. Uh, where centers couldn't shoot. Yeah, I know now. And now they got Boogie who can knock down threes. So I mean, it's really Splash City over. Ain't nobody in their starting lineup that can't knock down a three.
But just think about this though. When you talk
Hmm.
about basketball,
Hmm.
doesn't it kind of make sense that you can shoot? Like
I would hope you can because that's a big part of the game.
we playing basketball, so it's like when people say, well, they got a center that can shoot. I'm like, I mean, I would hope that you can shoot, even if
Yeah,
you're not a center.
right. You better be able to shoot.
So,
And not only that, if you can't shoot, why ain't you in the gym right now working on
which
your
is always
jumper?
which is always baffling to me, where it's like, man, you have big men like, well, now they're stretch fours and stretch fives. I'm like, man, like the game has progressed to the point where you actually do something that you should have been able to do from the get go. It doesn't matter if you're
Absolutely.
7 feet or 2 feet.
Right.
Shoot. No, I'll close it up, baby. Yes.
Absolutely, man. So I agree with that. Now I want to jump to something as I was saying that it's new to the league. Um we know right now in the league that Adam Silver has put an emphasis on the G League,
Right.
rebranded it, brought Gatorade in, assisted team with more teams with expanding so they can
It-
have their own G League team.
right. I think it's only two teams that don't have their own G League team now. I think
I
it's
believe you're
Portland and
right.
I forgot who the other team is.
Yep, yeah, Portland and one other team. I don't remember who it is. We could fact check that. But
Yeah.
with that said, this two-way contract is very very new. B. What do you see the two-way contract as it is now, and where do you see it progressing to in the future?
Oh man, yeah, I
Oh
think it
man.
depends on.
Come on.
Yeah, no, I think it depends on
Tink, come on.
the growth of the G League. I think
Okay.
if the players are paid more in the
Mhm.
G League, the
Mhm.
two-way contract actually means more
Okay. Okay.
because I think that was, to me, that was the biggest thing with the G League. Obviously, when it was the D League, I think they were just it was just something that they didn't really put too much emphasis into. But
Okay.
again, like I say, where Adam Silver comes in and just like, you know what, you see, at least when you look at Major League Baseball, when you look at the minor league, it's like, man, at least the league right below them, they're actually getting paid where these guys are actually making a real living. Where it's
Right.
not like, oh man, but obviously as everybody outside of I want to say AAA or whatever it is, that
Right.
they getting paid peanuts, like real
Right.
peanuts.
Right.
And I think that's the biggest thing. Like if you want somebody to be a part of your league and
Mhm.
and the guy the league that you're trying to get to is right there, you can actually see it,
Mhm.
but they paying you like, I don't know, man, like you would have been better off getting an IT job.
Right. Our
That's
state
really
job.
what it is. Yeah. And so I think with them, I think once they change the pay scale, I think that's
Mhm.
going to change everything because they already have the infrastructure in the mind of, like, you see, what David Stern put in place. It was just Adam Silver's job to take that and push it further.
Right.
And when you do that, like, I think the biggest gap is the
Mhm.
pay. Like the two-way contracts are great,
Right.
but it's the pay that stunts your league. And it's not
Right.
like you don't have it to pay it.
Oh no,
to them.
got it
I
in
mean,
abundance, right?
and it's like the only way that you're going to help that league to get better and to get the product in the NBA to get better is if these guys are actually playing for something. And I think that to compensate them well or better than what you have been is
Mhm.
going to help a lot now. And I think that's what the two-way contract does for you and your team and your player. Like this player actually has access to a better way of living.
Yep.
And give that to everybody and watch what happens with just the league in general, with the G League and the NBA. When those guys like, yo, like, man, like I'm not putting in this work for nothing. What it feels like. I don't have to go overseas to do this. And I think that's it's actually gonna draw guys from overseas here too.
Right.
Where you'll get better players sooner
Mhm.
because you're actually able to compensate them where they actually can, live, and focus on getting better. Versus, a lot of guys in the G League, like they got to focus on getting better and paying their bills.
Right, exactly. And then that takes away, a lot of the time or even just the concentration on just working on their skill set and just working on the game. And I do like the point that you made about bringing more European players over here as well. We could see more of what they're made of earlier on, scout them out earlier, but also keep the talent level high so that way as these guys are working on their game, they're also going against very respectable talent, and it really now puts a pressure cooker underneath the league as well to really raise the talent up. So it ultimately leads to a better product, and as NBA fans, that's all we really
That's
want,
what
right?
we want, right? We want the best product on the court. Like that's
Exactly.
what you want. You want competition. You want high level competition. That's why we'll watch. And if you're competing, and I don't care if you're competing at the highest level, if it's checkers, if it's bottle flipping, if it's pencil breaking, like I want to see you do your best. I want the best to do it. And I think that's what the NBA, like, they had a stranglehold on the best athletes, on the best players, because they was in the league. But once you see, the Euro leagues get stronger and better, and we're taking more players from over there, it's like, man, like, what are we doing over here? Why don't we have, why don't we have my son?
Oh yeah, you're good.
Why don't we have that type of infrastructure when it comes to the league?
Right.
That's son, what'd you do?
I completely agree. One of the final thoughts that I'll kind of ask and leave you with, revolves around back to the G League. So, obviously we have this drought, in between the finals, and then we get a little bit of, we get the draft lottery, then we get the drafts, and then we get summer league, which I always love, and then we got the drought. We definitely have WNBA, shouts out to them, but
we got the big three, the JBA.
We got the big three, the J. Hey man, I forgot to tell you that the never lost league.
Yeah, everybody got a championship because ain't nobody lost.
Right, here you go. But I was curious, man. Like back to the G League. What if we bring the G League in about 2 months before the regular season starts? Gives us some more hoop to watch. Puts more of a spotlight on those guys that are trying to get their name out there, as well as gives GMs, a really nice shot, and scouts a nice shot to look at these guys without having to focus on their squads during the season. And then for the rest of the G League, now guys can get their call-ups, like much earlier on, because the league is starting a few months after, and still get your 10 days, still get your, your sign for the rest of your contracts. What do you think about that, B?
Man, wow. That's the thing. I never thought about it. So that sounds really to stagger how they start the G League sooner. I think that actually helps. That helps that helps a lot. Yeah. It helps a lot because, again, like you said, the way that you scout your players, the way, like, these players actually get, that undivided attention from GMs and scouts, where, again, you're not going back and forth. Okay, well, I think that may be one of the reasons why they have affiliate teams now, where every team has a G League team now, just about. But I think if you started it, I would say maybe even if it's like a month before the NBA season, that's cool because at the end of the day, those guys can still have a championship. Like, they still have their all-star game. They still, like, all the things that they were doing, like, it still coincides, but the season actually ends, even sooner, so that, these guys can get these call-ups. They can get these 10 days. They can. And, yeah, man, that's actually.
I like that.
Sit down and think about that. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, and I also like that because, like, if they do extend their season, give them more days in between games. If this is truly a developmental league, now they get more practices. Now they get more time to train. They can actually develop instead of just hustle, play hard because I need to get that contract. They can truly develop and really have a better shot at that contract.
And also, again, they're better. Like, overall, you can put a better product on the court, which you say you're trying to do. But I think the NBA I think their biggest thing is always going to be the NCAA. Like, that's so when we talk about the G League, well, of course the NCAA is going to be upset that, well, man, the G League is now they're taking all of our players.
Right.
And it's like, oh, what do you mean? It's college. Like, it's not a for-profit business. Hold on, as soon as I finish, yes. Like, it's not a for-profit business, Mr. College Man.
Right.
This is about academics, man. Sports is secondary. But I think since you have that conflict, I think that's what makes it hard, for the league to do what I felt was easy. To me, it was like, yo, just take the guys in your D League or G League, man, give them real contracts, and this is over and done with. You don't have an issue, but you got the big NCAA that's like, nah, man, them in the NBA, they were so closely connected, but they weren't at the same time. It's like, you change the rule. Oh, okay. So now it's one and done. Oh, now I gotta go to college. I wonder why I gotta go now.
Right.
It's the NBA spends millions of dollars on scouts and development, so they can't do it. I would think that makes the most sense, right? If you're trying to get to the NBA, why wouldn't they be the amateur league? Why wouldn't they? Not even the amateur league. Why wouldn't they just do? Wouldn't you have a minor league, a real one?
Exactly.
Not the D League. But I think since you rebranded now, I think that's what's going to happen at a certain point. That they're going to pay them more money.
Yep.
And it's really just going to mess with the NCAA. That's how you see, hoop has it makes so much money.
It does.
It just is what it is because it's easy to follow. It's easy to play.
Fast.
You don't have to be. Come on.
So
man.
More action.
More action. There's always something going on. So.
Yep. And that's what I like also about if they started the G League earlier, that gives them an opportunity to snag some television rights, which is additional income. So now if you do want to play these guys more, I know they do, but now you get to pull that from an outside source instead of having to pull it from your franchises, who some of them might already feel they're cash strapped, everybody going over the luxury tax. Okay, go ahead and let's get some TV rights and then have that directly funnel that to the G League, and then now you guys got guys properly paid. They don't have to worry about their living situation. All they got to worry about is giving you a better product and making your league better.
And as a company, right, isn't that what our job is to do, is to create the best work environment for our employees, for the people that work for. That's what we do. You create the best work
Absolutely.
environment, and what happens? I mean, it doesn't mean that everybody's gonna flourish, because then it leaves the responsibility on the player. Like if
Right.
you do your part as an organization, then I think you don't have these rifts between players, and looking
Mm.
at teams all crazy. It's like, come on, man.
Daddy,
Like,
how many
you
more
do your job.
minutes?
You do your job to the
5.
best of your ability, so I can
Yep.
do mine. Like,
Exactly.
that's how it works. But I
That's how
think,
it
again,
should
for me,
work.
the biggest thing is the NCAA was always in the way.
Yeah,
Like
absolutely.
and I think they're just gonna. It's one of those things that as soon as they figure that out, I
Yeah.
think as soon as the NBA says we good, we
Yeah.
like because you don't want to. I know they don't want to just sever ties with the NCAA
Right.
for I don't know, for whatever reason, but I think that they should. I
Absolutely.
think that they shouldn't be, they should have dialogue and talk, but I don't think they should make policies based on one another. I don't think that that's how this thing works, because there's a conflict in interest on one side. On one side, these guys are getting paid handsomely. On the other
Right.
side, these other guys are getting paid handsomely off of these guys. And that
Right.
I don't see how that works. I don't see how we can, like, that seems like exploitation to me. That's just
Absolutely.
me, but-
Oh, well, brother, I'll happily let you know it's not just you, and we are definitely gonna see that change very soon, I believe. But on that note, we got Jello to get, and we got dinner to
There we
eat.
go.
So
There we
everybody
go.
that joined us, we appreciate you so much.
Absolutely appreciate your time, man.
Appreciate you. I appreciate you too. And I'm gonna snag him again to be on the show a little bit later. But you guys tune in and find out when that's gonna happen. But I hope everybody has a blessed night. Thanks for joining us. Y'all take care of yourselves.
Absolutely, man.
Peace.
Peace.